So, in today's video, I want to go through the rest of the info that's been circulating around White Horse Adeptus, the new 4-star Aluga, and the new artifact sets that players have been dissecting for the last day. We already talked about Columbina in the previous video, so consider this the second half of the conversation. Everything players are saying about the other characters connected to version 6.3. By the end of this video, you'll have a full picture of how the community feels, what details people are debating, the funny reactions, the concerns, the hopes, and the patterns players are seeing across these discussions. Buy 6,480 Genesis crystals with 6.1 limited pack for only $75 at Lootbar, GG. New users get 10%, and existing users can enjoy up to a 5% discount coupon. Link in the description. Before we jump in, quick reminder that everything we're talking about today is based on public community discussion, speculation, and what people are trying to piece together from scattered info. Nothing here is guaranteed or final, and things can absolutely change later. This is commentary. It's analysis, and it's our attempt to make sense of what everybody's been arguing about. So, let's start with the White Horse Adeptus because she came out of nowhere and instantly became a huge talking point. The main idea floating around is that she might be a Geo character who scales with DEF, and that alone made Goro enjoyers wake up from their graves. After years of having one real DF scaling Geo character, people are excited at the possibility of a second one who actually plays as a frontline DPS. But the reactions aren't all positive. A big chunk of players immediately pointed out how strange it is that Geo sword users keep getting locked into def scaling, like the element can only be albedo clones. And then there's the question of why she has no exploration ability, even though she's literally an Adeptus who can transform into a horse. A ton of comments joked about how Durin and Columbina both lost their flight, and now even the magic horse lady gets no mobility skill. The running joke was basically, Natlon spoiled us too much, and now Nodcry is forcing us to walk like it's 2020 again. Beyond movement, people are wondering what her actual combat role could be since she's mentioned doing lunar crystallized DMG. That pushed the idea that she might be part of the new lunar ecosystem. Some players think she'll work with Lunar Bloom teams. Others think she's another self-contained DPS. And a few even said she could end up as a standard character because her design sounds simple. Nobody agrees on her ideal teams. Right now, she looks more like another piece of the lunar puzzle rather than a universally flexible character. And that leads to one of the funniest criticisms people have. The fact that characters who logically should synergize, like Columbina and White Horse, might not actually interact in any special way. People expected the Moon Goddess and the Celadone Mare to complement each other, but the discussions so far don't really indicate that. Now, we can slide into the new 4-star Aluga because he also added to the confusion. A lot of players didn't even know who he was at first. The first wave of comments was literally just, "Who is Aluga?" followed by people digging through Flynn's voice lines to remember that he's a Lightkeeper. Once people realized he wasn't the White Horse Adeptus, the interest shifted toward what his role might be. Since he's a Lightkeeper, some players think he could interact with overworld objects linked to that faction. But nobody has any solid idea yet. The only thing everyone kept repeating is that he's a 4-star Geo character. And for whatever reason, he's being placed on the White Horse banner instead of Columbina's. That decision sparked a new wave of frustration. Players who want Columbina don't want to accidentally pull White Horse, but they do want Aluga. On the flip side, people who want White Horse probably don't want to risk pulling Columbina early. So, this setup forces both sides to reserve wishes, which a ton of players complained about. The funniest comments were aimed at how Hoyoverse always introduces a new 4-star with one short animation showcase, and then disappears them until release. People already accepted that Aluga will probably get the one-clip-and-vanish treatment. From characters, the conversation naturally moved to the new artifact sets, the Lunar DMG set for Columbina and the Arcane set for Hexen's adjacent characters. The Lunar set sparked mixed reactions right away. A lot of players don't like the idea of a set that only buffs lunar reactions because it feels too restrictive. Players worry Columbina might become another niche character who needs her own set to function, but doesn't bring much outside of Lunar Bloom or Lunar Crystallized teams. Others pointed out that Nodcry already has a strong 5-star DPS set, so adding a second one just for lunar reactions feels redundant. The funniest reaction came from someone asking if every region gets its own national team, now because so many Nodcry characters seem locked into very specific mechanics. On the other hand, the Arcane set actually got a lot of positive attention. People believe the Arcane set is tied to Hexensal characters like Durin, Mona, Fischl, Alice, and Nicole. It's said to offer crit and ATK, and players immediately noted how badly some of those characters need a modern set. Durin especially was mentioned because he needs around 2,500 ATK to function. So, anything that helps him reach his numbers is welcome. The Arcane set gives people hope that old Manson characters, especially those tied to magic, will finally get something meaningful. The only strange part is that if Columbina and White Horse both get specialized sets, then where does Varka fit in? A lot of players are now unsure if Varka will even get his own set, because this update already seems overloaded. Zooming out to look at community sentiment as a whole, the overall feeling is a mix of amusement, frustration, curiosity, and exhaustion. Many players are tired of cryptic comments where every answer is basically yes, but with a little problem. These unclear confirmations have become part of the meme culture, with people describing them as riddles. Others are genuinely disappointed that Nodcry seems to have dropped exploration gimmicks entirely. After Natlan gave players new traversal tools, losing all of that right after felt like a downgrade. Some even said this is the first time a nation actively cured their pulling addiction because new characters feel more restricted and less exciting to play. At the same time, there's still hope. People want to see how these characters actually function, and many players are rooting for White Horse and Aluga because they come from lore that's been around for years. And the artifact sets might unlock interesting synergies once we actually see them in action. The only thing everyone agrees on is that we need to wait and see how all of this fits together because right now we're working with community guesses, past patterns, and a lot of incomplete pieces. So yeah, that's the full picture on White Horse Adeptus, Aluga, and the new artifact sets according to community discussions right now. I'm curious what you think. Are you interested in White Horse as a DF scaling Geo DPS? Do you like the idea of an arcane set for Durin and Fischl? And how do you feel about exploration abilities being completely removed? Let me know in the comments because honestly, the discussion around these characters has been more entertaining than anything else lately. If you want more breakdowns like this, more commentary on upcoming characters, and more community-based analysis, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Buy 6,480 Genesis crystals with 6.1 limited pack for only $75 at Lootbar GG. New users get 10% and existing you